Welcome. In front of me I have a NOKIA 5.4 and today I'll go over unboxing along with an overview of this phone. So popping it straight open, we get the phone straight up the front, so we'll just take it out. Then in here we just got some eject tool, nothing really special, and then cable and charger. So cable is Type-C, which is nice to see. There we go, you can basically see it right over here. So it's Type-C. And the charger is, I believe, 10 watts. Yep, so you can see, hopefully it's visible. So it's basically 10 watts here. Not the fastest charger, but oh well. So let's take out the phone. There we go. So right off the bat we can see the display. Now I already did set up the device, so it can be done a little bit quicker. So right off the bat you can see the display, which is a 6.39 inch display, the same thing as the NOKIA 3.4 display. I believe is basically almost identical to that one. So 6.39, 720 by 1560 IPS with an 81.9% screen to body ratio and 269 pixels per inch. So obviously the display won't be anything mind-blowing here, it's just a standard, not the greatest display. That's basically what I can say about it. Now at the back, when we flip it over, we have fairly nice looking back with this weird texture. Now it is completely smooth, as you can see, kind of like glass, but you can see this texture, like these lines. It kind of resembles something like a I have one, the old Mate 20. This one isn't necessarily smooth, but it basically looks really similar to that. So apart from that, we do have the fingerprint sensor right here and triple camera setup. Actually quadruple camera setup with a flash on the side. And when it comes down to cameras, we do have a main sensor, which is a 48 megapixel wide sensor, 5 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel depth and macro. Now the two bottom ones, which are depth and macro, I wouldn't really consider them to be cameras. Usually they don't do anything good, so it's a scammy way of basically racking up the count of cameras on your phone, just so you can, well, I guess bring up the price. These cameras cost literally nothing, and yet I wouldn't say this phone is worth $250, which is apparently what it's being sold for. But I'm pretty sure the reason why they made it a little bit higher is because of those two cameras, because look at our gracious device, which is cheap for 4 cameras and whatever. It's just trash here, let's be honest. Those cameras are not usable, and I'm gonna prove it. So let's open up the camera and show how trash this is. And now I am using Russian right now, so let me actually change it so I do understand what I'm selecting. Hopefully I can find it quickly. There we go, language. That doesn't look really good. Can I like change it? Apparently not. There we go. So now let's launch camera. So the main photo mode, the one that you usually take photos with, is just going to be the typical 48 megapixel sensor. So these photos should look good. Now it does pop up with the macro, so you know what, I'm gonna test it out. So I captured 2 different macro photos, so I didn't know if the first one is sharp, but I guess we're gonna find out. So this is that's bad. This is terrible for a macro photo, just saying. This is the second one, it's even worse. Yeah, it just looks like a blurry mess. Then this is the 48 megapixel sensor. Now, obviously this does a better macro photo than the macro lens. Now, as a comparison, you know what, I'm just gonna I know this might not be very fair, but then at this price range, honestly, the phone that I have right here, the Mate 20 Pro, is basically at this moment worth as much as this, with the difference as that photos here will be superior in basically every way. So just let's go with the macro just so you can see how it actually should look like. So there we go, there we got a macro right here. Now probably could even get it better, but it doesn't really matter here. Like there is really no comparison. Let's actually go back to the macro just so we have fair comparison. So here we go. Oh well, we already maxed out on the zoom. So you can basically see almost every little detail on this photo, while here we're looking like a blurry pile of crap. Here a little bit less, but still it's not usable for a macro. It's not usable for anything. While this photo is just like, this is about a what, 4-year-old phone now, 3-year-old I think, something like that, and it outperforms the macro lens, the dedicated macro lens that we have right here in every way. Like I said, it might not be the most fair comparison considering that was a flagship back then, but still, you can pick that phone up for basically the same price right now, which begs the differ, why would you go for this one? So, obviously the macro here is just absolute trash, and now let's move further to portrait. That's another great lens here. Now it does some weird wonky things where basically you can change how lights look in darkness, I guess. I don't exactly know. You have a little bit of a image of how it will change it. So wow, stars, hearts, butterflies, snowflakes, and my favorite, the teardrops, which are looking at the photos that are about to follow from the portrait mode. So let's see. I'm gonna capture the photo right here. Let's see. Hello? Would you like to focus maybe? Oh, there we go. Oh, no, focus. Okay, so that took me some problem just trying to capture that's bad. Trying to capture a focus shot. Honestly, when you zoom in, the quality is not bad until you look at the things that are bad, like right over here. We're missing a little bit of a pine needles right here, or just needles from the cactus, which basically what it did is just kind of cropped it all around where it thinks is the background and where it's not. Now that's the benefit of the 2-megapixel sensor. So you also get these amazing things like this right over here. What the hell is this? Like, what? Like, you basically have focus right here and then immediately just such an absolute blur mess that it's so bad. Companies that include their 2-megapixel depth crap sensors should just stop it, because it is literally infuriating when you get to look at these photos and realize that, hey, my sensor that I thought was a benefit is just actually ruining my photos. That's basically what it does. So honestly, if you have the choice, I would literally take the tape and just tape it up here, because those sensors should never be used. They will only make your photos look worse than better. If you want a macro, use a 48-megapixel. If you want a bokeh effect, then you're out of luck, because I wouldn't really use anything past the natural bokeh that you get from photos right here. So yeah, cameras, absolute trash. At least the two 2-megapixel ones. Now we do also have a 16-megapixel sensor at the front. So let's open that up. So there is this one, and again there's something wonky about it. It's again trying to do some blurry effect. It's just also not really clear. It could be fault of the light, but yeah, it just looks weird. That did look weird on almost every Nokia that I tested today, so yeah. Okay, so moving to actual like decent specs on this device for the price, we do get a Snapdragon 662, not the best one, not even close, but still the fact that you get a Snapdragon and basically a mid-range one, I would consider a decent value here. Then we have a couple different options with storage. So we have 64 gigabytes with 4 and 6 gigabyte RAM version, and then 128, which apparently it's written that that's 4 gigabytes, but I think it's the other way around. It should be, I think, 6, considering this is the higher storage, but I don't know, maybe Nokia decided to just kind of throw logic out the window. Now you do also have the ability to expand your storage using an SD card right here, so you can get past the 64 or 128 gig storage, which is nice. And additionally, we do have access to things like NFC, so you can pay with the phone if you wanted to, which I consider that to be a really nice thing. We do have a headphone jack right at the top, right here, Type-C port for charging, which again, a nice thing here, and outside of that, 4,000 milliamp hour battery, crappy 10 watt charging, and a fingerprint at the back. And that's basically all that I should mention here, not much more to say. And honestly, for the price, I think a better alternative would be the Nokia 3.4. It's basically over $100 cheaper. This one comes at like about 250, while the other one comes at around 150. So when we're considering the price difference, the other one will be, in my opinion, if we're looking for a budget device, for instance, will be better for the price, offering almost the exact same stuff like here, as we can see here, maybe a little bit less well-built device in terms of how it feels, because it will be plasticky, but other than that, the screen will be the same. The cameras will be just as disappointing as this one, but they won't feel as disappointing because of the price difference. You basically have 13 megapixel that captures, I would say, respectable photos here, or on the other one compared to this one, and doesn't include 2 useless cameras. It only includes 1. So yay. But honestly, if you're looking for a phone at this price range, $250, just look, keep on looking. This one, I wouldn't say it's worth it. So that being said, if you found this very helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.